Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am back for another Slim Sports interview. And as always, I'm your host, Jay Slim. And joining me again on the podcast, back for round two after last year, where we were talking about him going off to UMass, doing his thing that he did at the JUCO level, lighting it up from beyond the arc. Well, guess what? He did just that this season, shot over 40% from three-point range and had a couple of 20 balls and even a 30 ball this past season to show people why he's an elite level scorer. And now we'll be continuing to do it in the MAC conference next year with Ball State. Ladies and gentlemen, 6'2" point guard now with the Cardinals, KJ Parker. What's going on, KJ?
What's up, man? Thank you for having me, Jay. Thank you.
Hey, always, man. Excited to get on these JUCO route guys. You know me, I come from the JUCO ranks. You see the FSW jersey behind me. Love FSW, love the Bucks. Got to see you play in the JUCO ranks, do what you did there. Obviously, I kept track of you throughout this past season with UMass, what you were able to do. And man, I mean, just some great accolades, great accomplishments throughout your career already that I want to talk about in this segment we're about to get into called Resume Rundown, where I'm going to show off your resume, show off these awards. And I'm going to start off with the JUCO ranks. Obviously, where not only were you a first team all conference selection during your time with FSW, you were also an all state selection for Region 8, arguably the toughest region in all of JUCO. You were one of the top players in that region there. I mean, your career overall, you started off at Florida A&M as a true freshman D1, and you were a primary starter for the Rattlers throughout that season. Came over to FSW and then obviously moved on to UMass, where you guys actually were able to beat the undefeated Miami of Ohio in the MAC conference tournament, and just obviously was able to put up numbers after numbers, led the entire MAC conference in three-point percentage as well. Got to mention that. And I mean, you joined the Minutemen, and right off the bat, you were able to continue doing what you did at FSW. FSW were a lights out scorer, and you were able to do that with UMass from day one, where I believe through your first four games, you averaged 16 and a half points per game. How would you say you were able to really make that kind of impact right away where, some guys come in, they hit that JUCO wall, so to speak. You yourself, you have D1 experience prior. So would you say that helped out, or what would you say really went into that production early on?
I could say that definitely played a role, just because of the type of talent we played early on. As well, I played early on as a freshman at FAMU. That definitely helped. But just knowing that I put the work in, knowing that, like, I honestly think I'm probably one of the best guards in the country, and just going out there and working on my game night in, night out, having that confidence. Just knowing my game could translate anywhere. So just going out there playing with confidence, and my team allowing me to get up those type of shots to be who I am.
Hey, absolutely, man. Trust me. They saw that you were knocking out shots. They said, "Hey, go on ahead, do your thing. Let's get some points on the board." And
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it wasn't always this way. During your time with Florida A&M, I actually found the shocking. I didn't know this. You shot 25% from beyond the arc during your time with Florida A&M. Well, you go over to FSW, obviously you put in the work, you get better, and you ended up shooting 43% from beyond the arc there. And obviously this past season, you shot 40.8% from three-point range this year. Now looking back at that year with FSW, I know we talked about it a little bit when I had you on last time, what the JUCO experience really did for you. Now that you have this year under your belt back at the Division 1 level, looking back at your time with FSW, with how you were able to improve not just your three-point shot, but your skills overall, how would you say that allowed you to be able to take these big strides with UMass getting back to the D1 ranks?
I can say just the the confidence that I started to grow from that coaching staff, Coach Wallace and everyone that just came in and pitched in, man. And Coach Dillon was one of the assistants who was a new just like me and came in and we worked out every day. Coach Wallace believed in me, and the whole team just came behind me. And I guess, like, again, just working on my game each and every day. I've been playing basketball since I was 4, so to have that coach and to allow me to come in and be myself and start that confidence into me again is just like everything I really asked for. And that kind of just it's like the stamp. He kind of built that foundation for how my game is and allow me to gain confidence through my 3-point shot and allow me to play ball. So I got to kind of give props to that JUCO and Coach Darren for allowing me to be myself and making the staple of who I am today.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, shout out to Coach Wallace, Coach Lack, Paez, Coach Dillon, all of them over there. I mean, they do a
Yeah,
phenomenal job every single year. with the Bucks and what they've been able to do. No doubt, I mean, brightest of lights for them throughout the rest of their careers, no matter where they end up at. And I mean, you yourself, you come over to UMass and you were able to help them to a very strong start, including wins over multiple ACC opponents, beat Boston College and also beat Florida State, where you yourself, you ended up having 24 points, made six threes in that game against the Seminoles. I mean, just an incredible start, not only for yourself individually, but also for this team. How would you say that non-conference start, being able to beat tough teams like Boston College and FSU, was able to really set the tone, not only for yourself individually, but also for this team throughout the season?
Yeah, it just gave us confidence. Kind of again that stable for who we could be as a team. The non-conference games are there for just to kind of measure where you are as a team, and also go out there and play guys who may be on a higher level. So for us to be in the MAC and go out there and play ACC school is kind of something that everybody on the team wanted. And just speaking on the Florida State game, man, I'm from Florida. I haven't been taught, I haven't been looked at by any Florida schools, and it hurt. And to go out there and had the opportunity to play against a Florida school is like, yeah, man, it's bittersweet. It's probably a home school teams I done cheered for, but at the end of the day, I got to go out there and play ball. So, um, I mean, it was just fun playing against Boston College and playing at UMass as a rival. It just meant a lot for us as a town, and had to go and get that done. So, the non-conference was definitely fun, but it's kind of just a measure of who we were as a team.
Absolutely, man. And obviously, throughout the entire season as a whole, you were able to put up some big time highlights, put up some big time numbers throughout the entire season. And I want to talk about some of these plays that you had specifically in a quick segment that we're going to get into once again that we got to do last year called Make That Play, where once again I went through Synergy, took a look at all these made shots that you had, obviously a lot of them, and I put together what I feel like were your top three plays from this past season. But obviously, as you well know, I'm just a stats guy. I'm just a fan in the stands. You're the one on the court doing what you do best. So, what would you say was your best play from this past season?
Best play. Um, Probably have to be. I won't say I had a good play. Well, I give you one. Probably Akron game. It was probably off of. I think I got a rebound. And I pushed up for. I think I probably hit like an in and out to see if the big will kind of show, and he kind of backed up, and I just pulled from top of the key. So I think that's probably my best transition.
Well, that one is good. That one actually isn't on my top three. Maybe I'm just completely wrong. Maybe I just didn't look at it the right way.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show you my three because I mean you had some crazy highlights. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean UMass Lowell. I'm gonna start off at number three with that one spin move jumper you had there where you ended up driving in on the left side a little bit, a couple steps, got to about the free throw line, hit a little spin move on him and got that jumper off, cash it in like you do best there from the free throw line. So had him looking all over the place trying to figure out where you were going. That's at number three. Number two is that three-pointer you hit off a screen against Coastal Carolina to force overtime, just being clutch in the big time moments where you guys were down 64 to 61, 13 seconds left on the clock. You come off of that screen and you just light it up, knock down that three, force overtime. I believe you guys went into three overtimes or something in
yeah,
that game.
it's
That was
crazy.
insane.
Yeah,
And your three was able to help kick all of that off, give you guys a chance to stay alive. That's at number two, though, because at number one was going against Buffalo, where you had a shot clock beating step to the side three, where your teammate ended up kicking it out to you at the top of the arc, long range, couple feet back from the top of the arc to be exact. And
yeah,
defender comes right up on you. You get the ball kicked out to you with time winding down. That defender gets in front. You sidestep him, get space, and cash it in with him basically right there in your face. So obviously, just three of a whole lot of shots that you knocked down this past season. And I mean, overall on the year, you averaged 10.7 points per game, two assists, obviously shot over 40% from beyond the arc, had 22 points, six made threes against Central Connecticut, 24 points with six made threes against Florida State. Coastal Carolina, three overtimes. You had 31 points, six rebounds in that game as well. And I mean, you had eight games overall in the season where you made four or more three-pointers. So right there, those threes are putting you in double figures alone, let alone you getting to the rim, getting to the free throw line, whatever else you got to do. What went into those nights of high production where you were able to just go off against Florida State, Coastal Carolina, and even the games where you weren't able to put up crazy numbers? Maybe you had 5, 6, 7 points, something around there. What were the consistency factors you would say that led to your success throughout the season?
I can say for Coastal game and Florida State, I had some family in attendance, and they haven't watched me play in a while. Florida State game is kind of early on in the season, but haven't watched me play. And I had a lot of people there. And Coastal had my immediate family, but they haven't watched me play in a while. So I was excited just to play in front of them. And the Lord allowed me to go out there and play my game. But the other games, I can just say just staying ready, loving the game, um, staying in the gym each night, and making sure that I'm staying ready. I mean, each and every night, just want to go out and prove who I am as a player. But at the end of the day, I want to win, and having a will to win is making shots, being a team player, and sometimes being a team player is taking those shots. And my team wanted me to do that, so just standing in the gym, being ready, and making sure that everything is ready and screwed in and intact. So yeah,
There
that's all.
There you go, man. There you go. Obviously, that's why you guys were able to have that hot start. But the season overall obviously didn't go as planned, especially in MAC conference action. You guys ended up going 17 and 16 overall on the season, 7 and 11 in MAC conference action. And that's in part due to a 6 game losing streak that you guys had there towards the end of the season, coming off of that. I believe that Coastal Carolina loss ended up starting that 6 game losing streak, unfortunately. What would you say was really that missing link in those 6 games? And I mean, obviously postseason, and we'll talk about the Miami of Ohio game a little bit more in depth here in a second, the next question, but you guys had a win over Ohio going into the postseason. How would you say also that win against Ohio kind of helped get things back into gear going into the MAC conference tournament?
Like you said, just losing 6 games in a row is tough. Um, just to get a win before we go into postseason, it kind of gave us a spark. Kind of gave us that confidence again, even though it's one game. But just to know that it wasn't the end for us, kind of gave us that little leap to go ahead and man, let's finish strong. We made it to postseason, and everyone is 0-0, 0-0. So just go out and just compete. Go out there and win, of course, but let's have fun doing it. Knowing that we made it far in the season after we just lost 6 games in a row, but again, to have that one win can get us that spark. So going into the postseason, knowing everyone is just equal and it's time to get it. So
And it's not like you guys were getting blown out in any way. I believe all of
yeah,
those games, except for one, were by single digits, and three
yeah.
of those games were in overtime. So just a few plays here and there, and things are a lot different. You guys have a lot more wins in the win column there, and you guys were able to add that Ohio game to the win column. You also added Miami of Ohio to the win column, undefeated team that you were going against going into the MAC conference tournament. They were ranked number 20 in the country at the time. Obviously, they made it to the first four, got a win, made it to the round of 64 in the NCAA tournament with an at-large bid, but they did not get an automatic bid because you guys put an end to that. You guys did what you had to do in order to upset them, defeat them. And a lot of people, I believe, going into the game had them winning by double figures going against you guys. I had a feeling going into that. I'm like, KJ and them are going to do something.
Yeah,
The fact that it was UMass, I'm like, I know KJ at UMass. I think they got a
yeah,
shot.
yeah.
Man, obviously you guys lived up to my expectations, but talk to me real quick about the execution when it came to taking down that team, because obviously you guys hear all the hype around them. You know how talented they are. You don't get to be 30 and 0 or whatever it was without being very talented. Talk to me real quick about the execution and taking them down.
Um, I mean, they're in our conference, and we played them at their arena the first time. I think we lost by 3 or something like that. It was a good game, but just to know that again, like non-conference, we beat these ACC schools, and even though that this school is in our conference, but they're top 20 in the country, we feel like we can beat anyone at this point. And we knew we matched up well. But at the same time, we knew that they had great players and great tendencies and things that they like to do. So just finding that out and again knowing like we everyone is on a new start right now, and we understand that with the execution and the practices and just getting our legs back under us, we'll have a chance. Going out there playing hard, but just knowing like defense is going to help us win and having each other back. But again, we knew that we was gonna come out and play hard, and we kind of had a feeling like once we just stick to the game plan, which I won't want to say too much of, but stick to the game plan and we didn't just execute, we'll be fine.
Hey, absolutely, man. Obviously, you put a lot of people on notice with that win, and you yourself, you put a lot of people on notice throughout the entire season, including the team that you are now representing, wearing that Ball State shirt there, where when you played against them, you had double figures both times you went against them. And obviously, you entered the portal, decided to, take a chance on yourself. Ball State came calling, you took a visit there, committed there, signed there. Now you're going to be with the Cardinals for the 26-27 season. Talk to me real quick about your decision to go to Ball State. And also, did they talk about how you scored double figures going against them? Was that what made them notice you, or what was it overall that really led to you becoming a Cardinal?
Okay. The overall decision, the head coach is, from Lakeland, Florida. I'm from Lakeland, Florida, and he played with my dad in high school, and that's like my uncle, man. He helped me when I was a baby. So it's more of the things of knowing that I know that he has my back, and I know that he knows the things I want to accomplish. Um, just going there and the things that they have in place, and knowing like he coached at SMU for a couple years, coached at USC, got some draft picks, top 10 assistant coach in the country at one point, has connects, so I know he can get the pieces to come in and make a great team. I trust him, and I was just ready to just start a new journey. The coaches there, we have a couple coaches who coached in the MAC as well, who was familiar with my game, and we have some great player development people who coming in, and I know within the end goal, I'm going to be pro, and I guess I know for a fact that being there this year kind of helped me be where I want to be. So why not Ball State? I wanted to, go closer to home, but the Lord, I feel like directed me to a place that I would have never imagined. So I don't want to question that, and I'm just ready to get to work.
Hey, there you go, man. Definitely can't wait to see what you do in the MAC conference once again. Obviously, you already have a year in the MAC. You know kind of who you're going against. Some of these guys are going to be coming back to their teams. Obviously, with the transfer portal now, you got so many new pieces coming into every single team now. But obviously, you're going to be looking to be a dominant scorer for Ball State after being that for UMass, averaging double figures for them this past season. And you got to play alongside a lot of great talent during your time with UMass. You're going to get to play alongside a lot of great talent during your time with Ball State. Once again, obviously being in the Division I ranks, being in the MAC conference. And I want to give you a chance once again to shout some names out that I can have on the podcast to get their names out, get their stories out, just as you're doing now in this segment called Who's Up Next. So this time around, I can't remember exactly who you recommended last time I had you on last year, but this time you get to name a few more people off. So who would you say is next up on the Slim Sports podcast?
Um, Probably the same two. Um, George Kimball just committed to Auburn. That's like my brother, man, and he took a year off from Vanderbilt this year. Played at Eastern Kentucky 2 years ago. And great player, great dude, man. And he has a story to tell. Cho Machat, I played with Florida Southwestern. That's my guy, 7 footer, committed to Georgetown. And one more. Probably have to say Anthony Robinson again. That's probably the same top three. Anthony Robinson played at Missouri, but I feel like he has a great story to tell now. He's back home playing for Florida State, and that's going to be a great story for him to tell. So I hope everything work out for all three of those guys.
Hey, all three of them will have a spot on the podcast if they want it. I've tried reaching out to George before. Obviously,
Yeah.
Cholis, being big time right now. He's never been good at answering messages anyways. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
But
nah.
so I might be reaching out to you here soon to help me get all three of those guys on for sure. But
Yeah.
obviously, great names for who's up next. Just like KJ Parker, a great name to always have on the podcast every single year. You know, this time next year, we're going to be talking about you winning a MAC championship, going to the NCAA tournament, doing what you do best. But we got to
Definitely.
talk about the work in the off season real quick that you're coming up on. Obviously, we know you're this lights out 3-point shooter, but what else are you looking to really work on to improve your game this offseason to go into next year, be that dominant player once again, and lead the Cardinals to March Madness?
Um, just staying in top tier shape. We're trying to work on some athleticism, working on getting to the rim a lot, creating more fouls, but really just getting up a lot of volume shots, staying confident, keeping everything dangerous, but ball handling and just tune ups. I feel like I'm deep into my college career now, where it's just more about just confidence and staying myself. So just small and little tactics to figure out what defense or to take advantage of certain defenses, the coverages and stuff like that. But just staying dangerous and mentally staying focused. So staying in shape.
Hey, there you go, man. Obviously, always trying to improve, always trying to get better. And no doubt in my mind, you're going to take an even further step in your career this upcoming season, man. And I cannot wait to see what the future holds, what the Cardinals of Ball State are going to be able to do next season in 2026, 2027 season. Absolutely outstanding. Outstanding to always get you on the podcast, man. Like I said, last year we had fun. This year we're having fun. Next year, and obviously, when you go into your professional career, you always got a spot on the Slim Sports podcast. And eventually, one of these days, we'll get a KJ Parker jersey added to the collection here. No doubt in my mind there, man.
Definitely,
So,
definitely, definitely. We'll get you right.
absolutely, man. Always fun getting these jerseys, but they are expensive to buy on these NIL stores. I
Hey
will say
man.
that for sure,
Hey
man.
man, crazy.
Always great to have you on, man. Thank you so much once again for hopping on the Slim Sports podcast to talk about your season, talk about your story once again.
Definitely, man. Thank you.